Everyone has 3 to 5 players they absolutely love in their fantasy drafts. I have 30, and I broke them all down for you round by round based on comparative value to the other players that are being taken, how much I like them at each ADP, and each round, rounds 1 through 10, where you can take these players. As you can see, the first choice, this column with the green, is going to be the player I think has the best value at their ADP in the round. Second choice, second best value. Third choice, third best value. We are going to start with the first round. And when you see second choice, Jamar Chase, it does not mean I think Jamar Chase should go second overall. It means I'm seeing drafts where Bijan, Saquon are being taken before him. If that ever happens to you, you better get Jamar Chase. Same with Amon-Ra St. Brown. If you're picking at the end of the first, guys, look at the target numbers for some of these guys. You look back at last year, obviously Jamar Chase led the entire NFL in targets, but Amon-Ra St. Brown in a crowded offense was still top 10 in targets. These guys produce, they're in good offenses, and they score touchdowns. That's the bottom line as well. They're going to give you those extra 6 or 12 points on a random basis. But to me, my number one in terms of value in the first round is Malik Nabers. A revolving door at quarterback last year with Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, even Tim Boyle, who threw Malik Nabers one of his last touchdown passes. He still managed to be second in the NFL in targets in terms of overall receptions, was fifth in the NFL, and produced more than 1,200 yards last season with poor quarterback play. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Russell Wilson is some world beater, but Malik Nabers, who's being taken in the back half, even the last 3 picks of your first round, should not be going there. You got to get your hands on this guy. And as much as I like to take a running back early in terms of value where these guys have been falling, these 3 receivers are my 3 favorite picks in the first round. Moving to the second round, another receiver, Drake London, I absolutely love. You go back to these receiving stats. You go back to the targets. Drake London was 3rd in the NFL in targets last season. I think with an upgrade this year with Michael Penix at quarterback, he will continue to produce. He is an excellent, excellent player. And if you've watched any Drake London video breakdown that I've had this offseason, you've probably heard me talk about his usage in the slot. Yes, the slot. If you know anything about Drake London, he's enormous. He is a big, big player, but he gets put on the inside for check down purposes, matchup mismatches. He is going to be used in so many different ways in this Falcons offense and honestly will rival Bijan in terms of overall production, points per game, and all of that. The second player I like a lot, simply because of where he's being taken in a pretty good offense, assuming Matthew Stafford is playing, is Kyren Williams. This guy is the RB1. We talked all last year about Blake Corum potentially taking his spot, and the Rams didn't let Blake Corum do that and then extended Kyren Williams this offseason. They believe in him. They want him to be a focal point of their offense. He's being taken at the very end of round 2. It's great value, especially if you're waiting to take a running back. Like you want to go Jamar Chase first overall, and then you don't pick till the 19th pick or the 23rd and 24th pick. Kyren Williams is your guy. You should be taking him. And then Nico Collins, to me, at the beginning of the second round, is true wide receiver 1 upside, because you look at some of these other receivers in terms of yards, receptions, all of this stuff, but yards per game where Nico Collins only played 12 games, he was 4th in the NFL in 83.8 yards per game behind only Puka, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. Like the production for Nico Collins, the upside for Nico Collins, again, with minimal competition in his offense. Brevin Jordan now done for the year. Tank Dell probably not going to play. He's competing with a rookie in Jaden Higgins, who I think is good. Christian Kirk and Dalton Schultz, like he is far and away the number 1 pass option in that Texans offense, and I think you have to lean into him. In terms of the third round, ready, drum roll, please. Tyreek Hill, James Cook, and Chase Brown. Chase Brown is very similar to Kyren Williams, being taken at the very beginning of the third round, who has serious PPR value and is in a really good offense. You have to take a swing on him. James Cook, assuming he plays, seems like right now on August 12th, the hold-in is over. I think he will play. He is worth it simply because of how much the Buffalo Bills run the ball. I know Josh Allen could potentially take some goal line work, but he's explosive. He's involved in the pass game. And at the very end of the third round, which is where he's being taken, you're getting a low-end running back 1 when you probably already have at least a wide receiver 1, maybe 2 receiver 1s, or a receiver 1 and a running back 1 on your team. I love the pick. Truthfully, in my most recent draft, I got James Cook in the third round because I already had an elite RB1 and I already had an elite wide receiver 1. It's a high upside RB2, quote unquote, if he's your second running back, but low end running back 1. And then Tyreek Hill, guys, for me, this is more film-based and value-based. Like I turned on the film last year and I still think Tyreek Hill has it, but looking at his offense, they're still going to have to throw the football a bunch. They're probably going to be playing catch up. They don't love to run the ball volume-wise as much as the old McDaniel offenses with Mostert, with the honestly the old McDaniel offenses in San Francisco. They lean into Tua and his ability to throw the ball. Quick passes. I know Jalen Waddle's been having a good camp, but at the very end of the third round, if you can take a swing on a guy who finished as the wide receiver one, I believe, 2 years ago, it is worth a shot, guys. It absolutely is. In the fourth round, I absolutely love Alvin Kamara, DK Metcalf, and Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, to me, I've made a bunch of videos on. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but the Kubiak system is going to favor his type of run scheme as well as the receiving production from the running back room. As you'll see later on, I do like Zach Charbonnet a lot on this list too, but running back is a priority in the Kubiak system. Walker is going to benefit from it. DK Metcalf, for me, it's just an Aaron Rodgers wide receiver one thing. You go look at Garrett Wilson last year, and again, it's kind of an underwhelming year for the Jets, but Garrett Wilson was still tied for fourth in targets. He still garnered 1,100 yards. The bottom line is Aaron Rodgers is going to find his number one receiver, and in Pittsburgh, when there is minimal help outside of DK Metcalf in the pass game, he's going to do that even more. And then Alvin Kamara, the potential with Kellen Moore coming in is through the roof. He's being taken in the early fourth, middle fourth, when he's going to be getting a ton of snaps, going to be really involved in the pass game, and doesn't really have a ton of competition, especially at the goal line. Alvin Kamara, to me, is a no-brainer pick, especially if you're somebody who wants to wait for your running back one, even if you can get Kamara, but running back two is a great pick. In round 5, here's where we get into the rookies. I love Travion Henderson. I don't need to go too in-depth here, but being taken at the beginning of the round 5 with very clear PPR value, very clear volume value in this Patriots offense, where he may even be the starter, but is splitting with Ramondre Stevenson. You always want to take a rookie running back and receiver in your draft as well. To me, Rashee Rice, who was elite in PPR formats last year, obviously there are questions about the suspension, the usage in the, quote, newer Chiefs offense. But to me, I look at his production in the games that he was healthy last year. He was excellent. You can go back to these receiving stats as well. Rashee Rice, going through this, was 72 yards per game, and this is including the game that he got hurt in. He was unbelievable. He was getting a ton of catches. This is almost, 9 targets a game. He had 6 catches per game, and then this is within 4 games, that 4 numbers, including the game he got hurt in. To me, Rashee Rice is an excellent addition, especially in the 5th round, who was an elite wide receiver, one in fantasy before he got hurt. And then Zay Flowers, to me, is a deep sleeper. He's being taken end of 5. I've seen him fall to the 7th round, but beginning of 6th. And I'm looking at Zay Flowers, who doesn't have a ton of competition in the pass game. I know they just got DeAndre Hopkins, who's really good, especially in full PPR formats. They're going to get him the football more. I think it's worth taking a shot. If this is your flex and you like to wait for a quarterback or tight end or both, if this is your wide receiver too and you feel really confident about the other players on your roster, to me, this is a guy who's going to be a pretty consistent performer for you, maybe not to the extent of Rashee Rice. Like, if I have the chance to take Rashee Rice before Zay Flowers, I will because of the upside. But a pretty consistent performer for you that has games that would warrant him to be in the first couple rounds, just not as consistently. This year in the Baltimore offense, you look for more consistency as well as more health. I think it's worth taking a shot on Zay Flowers simply because of the talent, the way he's used in the offense, the screen game especially, and the fact that he's just on a really good team and he's going to benefit from red zone usage. He is a very good addition in full PPR formats especially. In the 6th round, we're looking at Baker Mayfield, who I don't need to go too in-depth here, but had a 40-touchdown season last year, second in the NFL. I know he had 16 picks and was absolutely excellent in terms of overall yards per game, completion percentage. He's getting every single starter back plus Emeka Egbuka. He's going in the 6th round. He's going below Mahomes, Bo Nix. You should take Baker Mayfield over those guys. Calvin Ridley is another one where there's minimal competition in the wide receiver room, is getting an upgraded quarterback, has an extremely easy wide receiver schedule for fantasy as well. Do not forget that. He's worth a look. He's worth an ad, especially because this drop-off after round 5 for receivers or wide receiver ones really isn't there. It's him and Jerry Jeudy and Ted McMillan. Now, Ted McMillan, there's more question marks for, but I have him and Travion Henderson on this list. RJ Harvey could be in round 6 as well because you got to take chances at rookies, high upside guys who don't have as much competition. I don't know if Ted McMillan has elite competition in that wide receiver room, but at the end of the day, he is Bryce Young throwing the football. So there are question marks, but he's been excellent. He's going first in one-on-ones. He was really good in the preseason game against the Browns, at least so far that we've seen. Like, he's worth the shot, especially because he was, I guess, Travis Hunter included, the second wide receiver taken off the board in the draft. They very clearly like him and believe in him when they really didn't have to take him in the draft, which is very, very interesting to note. Round 7, Stephon Diggs, very similar philosophy where Drake May needs a wide receiver one. It's a slot guy. It's an inside guy. It's a safety valve guy. You have to take him. You got to take your opportunity with him. Second choice, David Njoku averaged 93.5 yards per game with Joe Flacco at quarterback. He was not healthy last season, but the reality is Flacco, and who knows what rookie quarterback comes in later, but if Flacco plays half the year, you're getting at least an elite tight end for half the year and then an unproven tight end with quarterback connection in the second half of the year. Because that upside is so good, he's worth a pick in the second round, especially if you like to wait for tight ends. You're taking David Njoku or a rookie. If you know for a fact you're getting Flacco week 1, which it seems like is going to happen, you're getting an elite tight end week 1 until Flacco's benched, and I'm taking my chances with it. Chris Olave, anytime you can get the wide receiver one in any offense, regardless of their quarterback play in the 7th round, you do it. Don't think twice. Pull the trigger on Chris Olave. In round 8, we have, drumroll please, Travis Etienne, Matthew Golden, and Jordan Addison. So Jordan Addison in the preseason game, the first one against the Texans, I want to say that Vikings opening drive was 7 plays, 3 targets, 3 catches with J.J. McCarthy. I know Justin Jefferson didn't play, and I know it's the preseason, and I know he's suspended for 3 games, but he's a mid-end, high-end wide receiver 2 that usually would go in the 6th round if he wasn't suspended, but is going in the 8th because he is suspended and will miss time. To me, it's worth a shot. I think you take your chance with Jordan Addison. Matthew Golden is another high-upside rookie wide receiver. There's just a lot of question marks in the Packers wide receiver room, and it was a crowded receiver room that truly needed an alpha walking into the draft. They took Matthew Golden. They have to believe in some sense he will be that guy. And then Travis Etienne in the preseason game, again, I know it's preseason. He is the Jaguars starter, and you think guys like Bishal Tutin, even Tank Bigsby will spell him out a little bit. But in that preseason game, he was the only running back with the starters. It's worth a shot. I know his injury risk is real, but if you're taking higher upside running backs at the beginning, guys like an Ashton Genty, guys like a Kenneth Walker who truly is more upside based, and you want a safer pick, I think Travis Etienne is worth a look. In round 9, we have Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, and Tyler Warren. Very simply put, the first tight end off the board in the draft who's a rookie, you have to take your chance on. First 2, him and Colston Loveland, who you'll see on this list. But Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, you need to take your chance on rookie tight ends, especially because he's going to be a safety valve in a bad-ish offense, not a great offense, that's going to be trailing, that's going to have to throw the ball a bunch, especially if Daniel Jones is at quarterback. He's going to utilize a safety valve a bunch. Tyler Warren's going to be a PPR monster, and he's worth a shot, especially if you like to go tight end early where you have Bowers in the 1st or 2nd and McBride in the 2nd or 3rd. Like, you want a high upside backup that you don't really need to worry about risk-wise. Tyler Warren is absolutely your guy, along with Colston Loveland. But Justin Fields, the rushing upside is there. The Jets are going to run the expletive out of the football. Justin Fields is going to be a huge part in that. But this is another guy who has elite rushing upside who can propel himself into that top 7 or 8-ish quarterback range. But he's being taken out almost outside of the top 100, which to me is a little too low. And then Dak Prescott, I've talked a bunch about Dak. This is the best quarterback pick outside of Baker, I think, you can make in your draft because Dak has been a fantasy quarterback 1 just a couple of years ago. He's been a top 4 fantasy quarterback across the past 4 years. He's an excellent player in a pass-heavy offense that has really good weapons. This is the best set of weapons he's had his entire career. And they're going to be trailing. I don't think that defense on the other side is going to be good. The pass volume is going to be there, and he's worth the shot. And then in round 10, the 3 guys you take your chances are, like we talked about, Zach Charbonnet, already talked about him. Just a handcuff to Kenneth Walker. Running backs are going to be involved. Kenneth Walker has been injury-prone. It's arguably the best handcuff you can get in this draft. Colston Loveland, who is a guy that's been excellently talked about in terms of the Bears circles. The Bears did not need a tight end. They took him and put him immediately over Cole Kmet. Like, Colston Loveland's a guy the Bears very clearly believe in. If he replicates 2/3 of Sam Laporta's rookie tight end performance in the 10th round, it's worth a shot. And then Emeka Egbuka, who's kind of coming in to fill that Chris Godwin role for the beginning of the season, and who knows, maybe he takes off from there, but in a very pass-heavy offense, a very good offense, worth the shot. So these are the best picks in each round of your fantasy drafts, my 30 best picks based on round. If you guys did enjoy this video, please do leave a like. Please subscribe if you're not already. Helps me out, helps me continue to pump this content out for you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.